Now to the little victim of a very rare snake attack. 2-year-old Kai Sullivan was bitten by a huge python which coiled itself around him, crushing the little boy until he passed out. Kai's mother thought she would lose her son until neighbours and paramedics came to the rescue. Adam Marshall has this exclusive report.
Within seconds, he did let out a massive scream.
It had bitten him on the leg and was still attached.
The snake was just completely wrapped around his whole body.
The snake could have eaten this boy, I think.
I tried pulling it off. I don't know what part of the snake I was pulling.
Of all the things Rachel Sullivan thought she had to protect her son from in life, she never expected she'd have to stop a python crushing her son Kai to death.
To actually have a snake wrapped around your child is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Playing in the garage, the 2-year-old had no idea a 4-metre carpet snake was about to try and eat him alive.
He just kept repeating, "Mummy, a snake bit me, Mummy, a snake bit me."
Latching onto the 2-year-old's leg, it began coiling itself around his body, crushing down on his bones, suffocating him. There was nothing he could do to escape. The powerful python, too strong even for Rachel to pry loose. So what was going through your mind?
I was terrified. I just wanted to get someone to help and get the snake off Kai's body.
All Rachel could do was pick up Kai and the snake, still wrapped around him, and run into the street screaming for help.
I've asked her, where's he been bitten, and she's handing me the little boy saying that he's still being bitten.
Scott Tunney heard Rachel's screams. With no snake experience, he let instincts take over.
I just thought, I'll go for broke and reached down and grabbed the snake behind the head, hoping that it would actually release.
The snake began coiling itself around Scott's arm, constricting his blood flow, but it worked, letting go of Kai. But the python then went for Scott.
My fingers were starting to actually go numb from it.
The reptile so powerful it took another 2 men to pull the snake from Scott.
I think he was a very lucky little boy.
But the ordeal was far from over. When Kai was in the back of an ambulance rushing to hospital, his oxygen level dropped, his heart slowed and he stopped breathing and was unresponsive.
When he stopped breathing and everything, I just knew that was really bad.
Paramedics giving him oxygen. It was 5 minutes before they revived him.
The snake could, I think, quite definitely have killed the little boy, and if there hadn't been adults around, maybe even swallowed him.
Dr. Richard Kidd from the Australian Medical Association.
Pythons crush their prey to death, so this little boy, if the snake had continued, would have suffered severe crush injuries, broken ribs. The organs would have been crushed to the point where there would have been torn organs.
Worst case scenario, it could have been quite tragic.
Snake handler Claire Anderson says it's unusual for pythons to be so aggressive.
It may have been the case that Kai was mistaken for a food source.
But Claire believes it was startled. She says the reaction was only self-defence.
Like most wild creatures, they fear the unknown, so they will strike out in fear.
The attack is a first of its kind, but don't be surprised if it happens again. This summer, snakes are on the move, slithering their way into residential areas looking for food and shelter as a result of record rains which we've seen right across Australia. Experts warn we should be on high alert, especially in gardens where small children play.
It was definitely, in the attack mode.
It hasn't fazed young Kai though. He's now nicknamed the python Bitey and isn't put off by any other snake.
Bye, snake. Bye, snake. Thanks for the pat.
While Kai is fine physically and emotionally, Rachel is scarred by the horrific sight of seeing her boy having his life squeezed out of him.
I don't want my kids being scared to be playing around the house. At this point, I am.
As you can see, Kai's doing well now. He's very lucky. Scrub pythons can grow to 7 metres in length, but rarely attack children like this. There's no record of anyone being killed by one in Australia.